Her tiny hand had grown cold, her chest still, and in that moment, everything inside Jairus shattered. He was a father, but in this moment, he was helpless, powerless, a leader in the synagogue, yet no title could stop death from walking into his home. He had done everything right, prayed every prayer, sought every healer, but his little girl, his only daughter, lay lifeless in the next room. Was God silent, or was he setting the stage? And just when all hope slipped through his fingers, Jairus heard of a man who touched lepers, calmed storms, raised the dead. But could he reach into Jairus's darkest hour and rewrite the end of this story? And what he faced would test the limits of faith, dignity, and desperation. But what would you do when your last option was a carpenter for Nazareth? It was a time of deep unrest. Roman soldiers patrolled the streets, their armor clinking like chains around the necks of the Jewish people. The synagogue, once a place of peace, was now a stage of politics and suspicion. The people were caught between foreign oppression and spiritual dryness. Sickness spread without warning. Parents buried children. Hope was currency no one could afford. Religious leaders argued over laws while the people hungered for healing. Many believed the voice of God had gone quiet. Generations waited for a Messiah, but none expected him to come from Nazareth. And in the middle of it all, Jairus, a respected leader of the synagogue, found himself wrestling not with doctrine, but with death. Jairus wasn't just another man. He was a man of influence, knowledge, and spiritual leadership. When he walked through the marketplace, people stepped aside. His robes marked him as a man of stature. But none of that mattered when his daughter fell ill. She was 12, the age of promise, of transition into womanhood, the age when a father starts dreaming of her future, marriage, grandchildren, laughter. But now, she lay pale and motionless, sweat pouring from her brow, her breath shallow. Doctors came and went, shaking their heads. Prayers were whispered, but no answer came. Every breath she took was a battle. Her lips turned gray. Her voice faded into silence. And Jairus, the man who had answers for others, now had none for himself. In private he wept, tore his robe, sat in ashes. All his titles meant nothing now. Then word came, the teacher is near. Jesus of Nazareth, the healer, the prophet, the one who speaks with power. Could it be? Could this man, the one who dined with sinners, who was condemned by Jairus' own peers, could he save his daughter? Jairus faced the impossible, risk his reputation, or lose his child. He didn't hesitate. He ran through the crowded streets, his robe flapping, his dignity forgotten. Dust filled his mouth. Sweat stung his eyes. He fell at Jesus' feet, not as a leader, not as a scholar, but as a desperate father. Please come. My little girl is dying. And Jesus went with him. The crowd pressed in. Every step was agony. Time was slipping like sand through his fingers. People surrounded Jesus from every direction, crying out, reaching, pushing. Then a delay. A woman, bleeding for 12 years. She touched Jesus. He stopped. Who touched me? Jairus wanted to scream. Now, she's been bleeding for 12 years. My daughter may not have 12 minutes. But Jesus turned, healed the woman, called her daughter. And just as Jairus tried to hope again, a voice, your daughter is dead. Don't trouble the teacher anymore. The words stabbed like knives. Dead? No, not yet. He hadn't gotten there. It wasn't supposed to end like this. He stood frozen. His mouth went dry. The noise of the crowd faded. All he could hear was his heart breaking. Jesus turned to Jairus, looked him in the eyes. Don't be afraid. Only believe. Could Jairus still believe, now that the worst had happened? The house was already mourning. Wailers filled the courtyard. People wept, tore their clothes. She was gone. Jairus stood at the threshold, dread flooding every part of his being. His wife's scream pierced through the noise. Friends held each other, sobbing. Hope had died with her. Jesus walked in. She is not dead. She is asleep. They laughed, mocked, scorned him. But Jesus wasn't shaken. He took Jairus, his wife, and 3 disciples into the room. The air was still. Her body lay cold, lips blue, hands lifeless. Jairus wanted to collapse, but Jesus knelt beside her, took her by the hand. Tala the comb. Little girl, I say to you, arise, and then a breath. Her chest rose, eyes fluttered open. She stood, alive. Jairus' knees gave way. His daughter, his joy, his promise, was alive. Jesus said, give her something to eat. Simple, human, real. And from that day on, Jairus wasn't just a leader in the synagogue. He was a witness, a father reborn. Word spread, not just of a healing, but of a man whose faith broke through death. That little girl lived, and through her life, countless others found faith. She became a living testimony, walking proof that faith could overcome finality. And Jairus, once bound by religion, now moved by relationship. His voice changed in the synagogue. His prayers grew deeper. His hope became contagious. And his daughter? Every laugh from her lips, every sparkle in her eye, every step she took was a song of resurrection. Your situation may seem hopeless. The clock may be ticking. Voices may be whispering, it's too late. But friend, Jesus isn't finished. Don't be afraid. Only believe. Like Jairus, dare to fall at his feet. Even when dignity must be sacrificed. Even when others laugh. Even when delay seems deadly. Because faith still raises the dead. Faith still heals what others have given up on. Faith still moves mountains. Faith still brings light into the darkest rooms. So when you've done everything you know to do, when the doctors shake their heads, when the crowd says, it's over, remember the voice that said, she is not dead, she is only sleeping. Speak life. Choose faith. Hold on. The story isn't over yet. If this story moved you, subscribe for more powerful testimonies like this. Share it with someone who needs a miracle. And remember, sometimes the most extraordinary heroes are hidden in the most desperate moments. Stay tuned. More stories of faith are coming soon, right here on Hidden Heroes of Faith.